Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Lightning Boxing Network press conference, I guess. I am your host. I'm also going to be the commentator, the one and only musician, YouTuber, and boxer, King Trey. And I'm happy to do this. Even though I'm not fighting, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be a part of this experience. And I want to thank the council and the network and also Restream, our sponsor. Restream allows you to stream live to 30 plus social platforms at once. Thank you, Restream. And we are happy because in 2 weeks, it is fight day. 4K bands versus G, David versus Goliath. Okay, that fight is going to be something different because it's David versus Goliath. 4K bands is significantly smaller, and his opponent is significantly bigger than him. And then the co-main event, Necro Cannon versus Nathaniel Cobb. Both of them, respectfully, I'm not familiar with any of them, but from what I'm seeing, this feels like it's gonna be a good fight. And without further ado, that being said, welcome Nathan Cobb and Necro Cannon. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm sorry, your mic was just a little bit low. Do you mind repeating that for me, please?
I was just saying, how are you doing? How are you doing? How excited are you to be here? You know,
Oh, I'm very excited to be here and for this event. It's very good to meet my opponent and everything else. I expect great work in the ring, and I'm really pumped for this. So I'm just, making sure that I take my time and get really excited. So, Nathaniel, how do you feel, brother?
I'm feeling pretty excited about it too, and it's been a change going back into training as much as I have trying to come into this as short notice. But I'm really looking forward to being able to see what both of us can do. But for the most part, coming back in and trying to see how I can perform.
all right, sounds good. So, looking at the tail of the tape, I mean, Necro, 155.7, age 39. That's not that bad. Is this your first fight, or like what's going on?
Actually, yeah, it is my first fight, and this is an adventure that I wanted to get myself into. I have felt like this is a path that I can take for a couple of years, at least get the experience underneath my belt and the knowledge and what know how that I have of the sport is something that I need to utilize. And as in a Star Wars reference, just put it like this. The force will guide me, which is the force of this path of what I'm taking, so to speak.
All right. So, um, I mean, I was want to say, gentlemen, you are a part of history. Okay, this is the first ever Lightning Bouncy Council event. This started 3 years ago with the network, and this is hopefully going to be a fight that's talked about because I mean it's kind of evenly looking at it. Your opponent is a little bit heavier than you, but other than that, I feel like it's gonna be a great fight. But really, I really want to know what are you going through like in training camp? What's the drills? What's going on? How are you pushing yourself to the next level?
Well, just honestly doing what I have to say who is a very impeccable friend and as well the person who actually inspired me to go along this path, which is a good friend of mine, Ahmad. And just to state it like this, he's put me under a very good regimen that I implement for myself daily. So that way I can get into physical shape and life. Because mind you, I'm 39, so I'm a little bit up there to some people, but within myself, I still feel like I'm like in my late 20s, going in the early 30s, spirit wise. So I'm taking that essence and building myself up. So just reviewing certain aspects of boxing and then implementing it myself within like shadow boxing and of course doing body work and a couple other stuff when I can because I do live a very busy and productive life. So that's why taking this path as a side route is a good release, so to speak, in regards to stress and other stuff. Because there's boxing can be very therapeutic in a bunch of different ways if you utilize it like this. And like I said, stepping inside of the ring with my opponent, this is going to be very therapeutic on a multitude of levels.
And I feel the same way. Yeah, right now it's in between work and trying to do a lot of other stuff. It's mostly trying to get what training you can in, but also trying to be as proactive as you can and try to pressure on and build what you can with the time that you have. It Yeah, and then getting into our age too. It's not as easy as it used to be to keep up a lot of the endurance practices and stuff like that. So every little bit is just getting you that much step closer to being able to accomplish your goals.
All right. So, um, you know, since this is being the first of it and all, I mean, would you want to fight again and like respectably in your weight class? Because these are two different weight classes. So, like, would you want to do other exhibitions or would you want to turn like pro-ish?
Most definitely, I'd personally like to do more exhibitions, but I would also like to be able to get my weight down a little bit more. This was a little bit unexpected, so I'm kind of sad to come in at 185, to be honest.
All right. Necro.
I'm sorry, there's some audio issue on my end. I'm not able to hear what he had stated, but what I can reference on my end in regards to it is uh, I don't necessarily see the size of the opponent because even in a street fight sense, you're always going to find somebody that's bigger than you or in a different weight class. So it's just how you see it. I would gladly look to go into being pro later on down the line myself if that's something that I see fit. But um, I'm gonna use this one reference, which is a key point, and another inspiration to me that I'm just transferring over to boxing. Goku's not afraid of any opponent, no matter what their weight class, size, or anything else. So, as long as I implement myself as being a Goku and utilize the force of Mike Tyson within this small powerhouse that I am, we'll see how it happens later on down the line.
Okay. Okay. So, you know, being this fight being 2 weeks away, and you're starting to try to get into that fight mode mindset because like after after the press conference next week it's fight week, so it's like a whole different mindset. How do you think you would lock in and try to stay focused and not try to handle your nerves and try to make sure that you're ready and very very prepared?
So I'm focused every day. That snap's gonna be a quick trigger for me. There's no question about that.
All right. Necro.
I just think about it every day. I constantly keep it at the back portion of my mind. And as I stated, on a day to day basis, knowing that the day is approaching, pushing myself harder, but also resting in the same instance and just building myself up constantly. So when that day actually comes, I'll be ready for it. Like for me, I'll be ready. It's just me making sure that I'm constantly having that at the forefront of my mind and making that the center point of the direction of my energy. So that way things can happen like how it needs to. That's all I can do.
All right. So I mean, over the years, the boxing scene has changed. There's been, new stars going down. It's like who do you look up to and like who inspires your stance, how you go into fights, your IQs, how do you throw punches? Who inspires you to do that?
Nathaniel, you want to go first?
Sure, I could take that. I mean, growing up in the 90s and such, it was action movies and stuff like that all the time. So a lot of it's mostly, those kinds of inspirations. You take inspiration from those flicks that you saw that made you want to do that kind of stuff. This is way before the UFC scene and stuff like that. Now, seeing professional fighters today, I like to say that I take inspiration from people like Anderson Silva or like Bobby Lashley, is some of the bigger guys that do more ground pound and stuff like that. As far as boxing, this was more of a branching out into another form of martial arts, but being able to experiment and do something outside of my range, because I've been a grappler for years.
Necro.
Well, seeing I'm a little bit older, and you know how some people tend to stick to some classics. Mine would be Mayweather, of course, Tyson, and Ali, in respect to, of course, my age group for the brute force and brutality of Mike Tyson, the technicality and intellectual capacity of Ali, and then the dual combination of those said what with Mayweather to an extent. So those are the three that I look up to, and as well, there is another person. I mean, I am gonna have to put him on the spotlight because, like, I've seen his footwork and like had a chance of training with this dude. So yeah, Ahmad's Ahmad really is somebody to look up to. Like, yeah, that dude's sick, man. But that's another story. But yeah, he's another individual because of how he's able to switch stances and actually like compensate for a bunch of different tactical areas. So it's that actually inspires me. And I'm sorry about the background.
And speaking of Ahmad, that was supposed to be, your opponent, Necro, but unfortunately, you had to pull out and all that. And Nathaniel, on 2.5 weeks' notice, stepped in. So, like, how did you feel taking the fight? And like, have you been training since before then, or like, did you just automatically start training?
I'll be
No.
honest with you.
Oh.
I automatically started training when it happened. Beforehand, yes, I was doing a different type of training regimen. But I had to switch my art style over to boxing because I normally do like qigong and tai chi, so those body movements and that stance is what I would normally do. So when it came to boxing, I had to, of course, adjust and readjust. But boxing is one of the oldest martial arts that's actually known. So once I was able to put that in my mind, it was good for me to go ahead and box. I mean, good to go ahead and train. Plus, like I said, looking at some of the older people and how they did their stuff because everybody basically learned from them. Of course, they made their own adaptations to different fighting style, whether it's southpaw, orthodox, or the like, but it's still within reference to the classics. So once you look at the classics and you add your own vibe to it, then you're able to produce what you need. But now I've been able to train like honestly off and on because like I said, I do live a very busy lifestyle, and so this is a great addition to my lifestyle. But it is a necessity for me at this point because now I'm in great physical health. I'm in great mental health. This has been very helpful for me, like I said, for stress and as well overall anxiety. And then with me pushing myself to go past my limits because I like breaking my own limits. To push past my limits, which allows me to focus more too. So this has become something very profound for me, and that is why I'm glad that I'm doing this.
Nathaniel.
As for me, it's getting training when and where you can. So on my off time, the few days I do get a week to train, I'm usually at the gym for 4 or 5 hours trying to get some work in. Um, but yeah, it's been a painstake to be able to try to get in shape, especially as quick as I was told about it.
Okay. Okay. Um, and this would be a good time right now to let the viewers, let you know that if you want to ask, if you have any questions for these fighters, type them in the chat. Towards the end, I'll start to ask them these questions. But just want to let you know, like, type them in the chat if you have any questions. Um, so Nathaniel, you kind of already asked the question I was gonna ask next. Like, how long do you train for? And like what do you focus on? Like when you're in the gym, do you focus on power? Do you focus on like IQ, how to throw your punches right?
Well, without giving away too much, currently a
I
lot of it
focus,
is
if that's for me, focus on how to throw my punches and I focus on power. I mean, if you think about it, and I'm just gonna say this because of my weight class, so to speak, and or my physique, I'm already very dexterous. So movement is not something that I'm worried about. It would be more of power, body technique, and my actual punches, so that way I can make sure that I'm striking my opponent correctly, and or so that way I can move. So because of the fact, like I said, I do Tai Chi and I do Qigong movement and being able to move in certain angles, that already assists me. So the next thing that I really need to focus on is force.
All right, Nathaniel.
um Yeah, as for me, as much as I can actually get the work in is as much as I put in, and most of it again is just trying to focus on endurance and keeping up with that. A lot of my power, I feel like, comes from past experience in boxing and other martial arts that I've already done. So at this point, I want to make sure that I'm in the endurance shape to keep up the high energy going into these rounds. Because what are we, 8 2-minute rounds? So it's it's going to take a lot to say substantial going in for at least 5 or 6.
Okay, okay. So yeah, the fight is 8 2-minute rounds with 1 minute intervals. So I think that's helped well. 1 minute break in between. But yeah. So how are you like? There's no training footage on any of you. So like you're going into this with an open mind. Like how would you like how are you expecting your opponent to be, or are you just not focusing on expectations?
I have no expectations.
I'll say it like this: each of us are going to be brutal in our own sense, but it's more of I think for the both of us, like I said, the overall experience. Like, don't get us wrong. We're going to give it all that we got, but we're going to have fun in the same essence because we're not trying to go in there and just like obliterate each other. That would literally defeat the purpose of actually learning, especially like for me, since it's the first sense. I'm not trying to go in there and just blow them out. I'm trying to go in there, have an understanding, learn my opponent because it would be good later on for future matches or even other stuff like that. And then like me and him could even work out in the gym and do some stuff. So I'm looking at this, as like I said, as a journey. And the first battle is usually who you work with later on down the line, because if you look at history, there's been plenty of people that the very first person that they fought is the person that they wind up looking to and respect to combat. So that way you have your opponent that pushes you elsewhere. They might push you, you can develop a friendship like that. So that's actually how I'm going into the fight.
Okay, okay. Now, we're going towards the end of the press conference, but we did get a question from a viewer. He says, "What makes this fight feel surreal?"
Do you want to go first on that? Yeah, I'll take it. Um, I mean, honestly, for me, this is one of the first times I had to step into the ring in uh, almost a decade now. So it's really something different to just be able to step back in and be in a combat martial arts scene again, for one, and then for two, much less to have so much around it. I didn't expect to even have a press conference when the idea was first presented to me to be able to even participate in this. So this whole scenario has been pretty surreal, to be honest.
Okay, okay. Necro.
The only thing that I can say in this is you'll have something in which you will want to see, and that is going to be a very good display. It's going to be something that's good because we're both pumped and excited for it. And I actually don't know to also answer the other one. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's just going to be a good event. That's the best way of seeing it. Like, I mean, in retrospect, I can go in and be like, yeah, I'm going to completely annihilate him and, and do all of this. And in the same instance, I can be annihilated. So it's best to have an open perspective. And like I was saying earlier, to go in and learn versus going in half cocked and not really understanding the situation of the battle, especially when things are not necessarily in your favor. So it's best to go in like with the open mind, and then, confidence is key because both of us will still feel like we're going to win, like period. But I don't necessarily know what the outcome is going to be. The only thing I can say is I'm gonna give it all I got.
Okay. Okay. So what actually one of the questions that popped up while you were talking was, what do you think the outcome will be? But I guess y'all both don't want to get fight predictions,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And we really don't know the scope of each other's abilities at all. So, like, what predictions could we really make? You know?
Okay. And Nathaniel, you mentioned while you were talking about, like, you didn't know that there was going to be a press conference and how that felt surreal. I mean, this is, a stepping stone towards the big stage, is for not like the big names like Canelo, Mayweather, you know, Davis, Ryan Garcia. This is a stage to show love to the people who were not as appreciated, not as famous as them. So, would you want to fight again here? And do you have anybody in mind?
Would I want to fight here again? Yeah, most definitely. Do I have anybody in mind? I'm not really 100% sure. I'm not very familiar with a whole lot of people on the roster. Um, K-Bands seems like he's really into it. So that, I mean, that would be an interesting one if we could set something up. We'll see. We'll see what happens on the 19th.
All right, Necro.
I'm sorry, repeat that question for me. I got caught up when I was looking at Ice Snatch's message, so that way I can be prepared for the next question. But my apologies for that.
Oh, all right. I just asked, like, since Nathaniel said this was, like, he didn't know there's gonna be a press conference, and this is like kind of surreal to him. I asked if you would like to fight again on here, and like if there's anybody specifically in mind that you would want to fight.
Oh, I don't have anybody specifically in mind, but of course I would like to fight here again. I mean, I wasn't necessarily expecting a press conference, but then when I heard about it, I got myself ready in regards to it because I'm used to being in front of an audience. So, but I'm very glad to have this press conference for it to be live streamed with restream. Is like you said earlier, it could be streamed to a multitude of platforms and everything else. Twitch is most definitely a platform that can be utilized for that. Just make sure that you aren't within legal bounds. But I would love to actually, as soon as I can find another opponent, and or if I were to have somebody to find me an opponent that is as of good match, definitely. I don't see why not, because then um, this will be, like you said, my journey along where I need to be, and what better place to be than here,
All right, all right.
honestly.
And then you had mentioned something about eye snatches, a young comment, and he had just put something where he asked, "What do you notice about your opponent?"
Well,
So
I'll go ahead and I'll state this. I noticed that my opponent is very receptive and that he does pay attention. So I'm expecting for him to be that way in the ring. That's the one thing that I have noticed about him just by looking at his body movements and everything else when I'm talking. He has very upbeat energy too, very energetic. So I know that I'm kind of expecting that in the gym as well too. So
all right, Nathaniel.
As far as stuff I've noticed about my opponent, I wasn't trying to pay too much close attention to any kind of cues like that. But you seem very relaxed and very smooth right now. So as long as that kind of liquidity can move over into the ring, it might be pretty hard to be able to keep up with you. Again, endurance I feel like is probably going to be my worst enemy going into this match.
Okay. So, it is about that time where we're gonna have to get to the next fighters. But I would like to say, thank you, Nathaniel. Thank you, Necro, for taking time out to do this. Build up some hype for this fight. Be on the first ever press conference, and I had fun. I enjoyed it. It was nice. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice to be here, boss. Thank you very much for your
Yes, it
time.
was. It was very nice. So thank you for having us here. Daniel, buddy, I can't wait to see you in the ring. Much respect to you in regards to this fight. I know it's going to be a good one, and you at least have an opponent. Like I said, just I'm not gonna come in there talking all sorts of hot shit and everything else, dude. Like this is my first fight, and this is yours as well. Just as much to where we can, like I said, both wind up doing something later on down the line, dude. So I'm gonna give you that much respect as one fighter to another starting this journey as well. Plus, you're younger than me. You're gonna keep me on my toes. I'm gonna tell you that right now, man. I'm gonna love every minute of it, though. I'm gonna tell you that, though, bro. But thank you, guys.
All right, all right. Thank you, Nathaniel. Thank you, Necro. I will see you next week. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event for this press conference. You might have to wait a little bit, just to keep y'all on your toes. But yes, when I come back, it will be 4K bands and G for the press conference. And while I have this time, I'm gonna tell you next week it's gonna be stacked. Okay, we have the face to face, and then a few days after that, it's fight week. So we got another press conference. We got the workout, the public workout, then the weigh in, and then fight day. All presented to you by the Lightning Boxing Council and the Lightning Boxing Network. And we want to thank our stream partners, Restream, because Restream allows you to stream live to 30 plus social platforms at once. So we appreciate you, Restream, for helping us out. And 4K bands versus G coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the main event. 4K Bands versus G, the official press conference. Now, listen, this I'm hoping it's not gonna be heated, but we never know. It's the main event. Given the tape, I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? But here are the fighters, 4K Bands and G. Yo, what's up? How are y'all doing?
I'm doing good. What's up, fam? How you doing?
I'm doing
So with it,
great.
bro.
All right. So, first of all, what we have to get off the table. I mean, it's really David versus Goliath. Okay. The height and the weight is it's mind-boggling why you want to take this fight. I mean, I'm just how are you coming into this fight? Like knowing that you're very undersized.
All right, so look, I see it like you want me to be honest. I ain't never backed down. This might be the dumbest thing I've ever done. It really be for real. But at the end of the day, think he don't got shit for me. I'm gonna be honest.
Bro, you bullshit, bro.
So
You can't handle me right here, man. You can't handle me, man.
All right, G.
we gonna see.
Knowing
We
that
gonna
your
see.
opponent is
Yeah, we gonna see.
knowing that your opponent is undersized. Okay, how are you coming into this fight? How are you
Man, I'm
training?
coming hard, man. I'm coming hard, man. I don't think he really ready for this. You hear me? He ain't really ready for this. I'm gonna just say that. We gonna let that fight. We gonna let it see that fight.
All right. So, I mean, the commission had just barely let this fight go on, and I'm hoping that nothing too bad is gonna happen. Nothing too bad is gonna happen to 4K, or possibly nothing bad gonna happen to G. But what I really want to know is how are you 4K? How are you training? Like, are you training like twice a day, or like how hard are you going, knowing that like you're gonna have to hit this man hard to make him fall?
All right. So look, I'm gonna be honest. Cardio, man. You gotta say something without giving out too much. You gotta ensure it just one of them. Okay, I'm done and I quit, and you can't walk out of this. So it's mainly just keeping up with your and ensuring that you can get. You're gonna have some heavy punches. It's just being able to be hit without getting hit.
All right, G. I mean, knowing that your opponent is undersized. I mean, are you taking him seriously, or like
No,
do you see him as a threat, or do you just like are you just training like how whatever?
no, I don't take him seriously, man. I'm gonna get him, man. I'm gonna take this on. I'm taking this on.
All right, so I'm just letting you know, you guys are the first ever main events for the Lightning Boxing Council or Lightning Boxing Network. So let me clap your hands for yourselves. Okay, this is history. We going up. This is history, and hopefully, y'all can get more fights next. But you know, I mean, G, would you want to fight someone in your weight class later on for the council and the network?
I mean, bro, it really don't matter. What you want to box?
I mean, I'm not in your weight class. I mean, you're 100 pounds heavier than me.
Try to box the host is crazy.
Um,
Focus on
Hey, man, I want you. Come on, okay?
right.
all right, 4K. Like,
Them
do you
two
see
letters
yourself?
in your name that get now real quickly, and it's gonna be that E and that ASY. That stands for easy fight, easy win. I'm
Nah, man.
dead serious. Like you don't have to take me serious. I promise you're gonna have to take me serious.
We gonna see.
Yeah, I ain't
All
gonna
right.
see.
So okay. So like 4K. Like, how are you training like for this fight? Like, are you like, what are you focusing on? Like, really, like, are you
Your
focusing?
audio cut out.
Like, how are you focusing on like what are you focusing on in camp? Like, are you focusing on your diet? Are you focusing on like where to hit people or where to like hit him? how to make him fall and all that. Like
So I'm gonna be
where
honest.
where's
It's
the coach
just it's me training for precision, time, and doing cardio. Mind you, he's big, heavier, a foot taller to me. You know what I'm saying? He's a target. That's all he is. He's a I've jumped over hurdles my whole life for me, honestly. You know, my siblings are here watching. Harder they fall, and G's gonna be the biggest fall. Really, it's a lot of respect. It's a lot of respect, but I would take it easy on me.
all right, and I mean, all right, G, what's you don't have training footage. I mean, this is 4K training. Like what are you gonna do? Like, there's no training footage on you. There's
Man,
nothing.
I actually don't got no training videos right now, so I really I got to wait for it, so I'm built for it.
So how hard have you been training? Like how much have you been training
Man,
during this whole thing?
I haven't been training.
You haven't been training. So you're not scared that come fight day you're gonna be a little underprepared and like he'll shock you.
I don't think I'm gonna lose.
You don't think you're gonna lose
They got to put somebody else in the fight.
because like 8 2-minute rounds, like that's a long fight. Like that's straight cardio. Basically, that's a long fight. Are you sure you're gonna be ready on the cardio side
Of
to fight?
course.
4K. How do you expect for you to be during this fight?
I ain't gonna lie, he gonna come out swinging. I'm gonna be honest. He gonna come out swinging me. You know what I'm saying? He very well could have his little game plan, but how smaller than you and could get inside. I could fight you outside the whole fight. To be honest, like it's gonna him to hit me that he think it is. You gonna have to get under of gravity with me, bro. Like for real, you gonna have to hit a punch because you punch it down is gonna be real uncomfortable.
And G, I like to talk about the fact that you haven't been training. Like the bigger they are, the less cardio they have. So like you're more easily to get gassed out than he is because he's small. So like, do you not think that's gonna be a factor for you? You think you're gonna be cool during the whole fight? You're not gonna get gassed out.
I got this.
All right, all
I
right.
got this right here.
So you know, after the face to face next week, it's fight week. So how are you gonna get mentally prepared? How are you gonna like stay in the zone, stay focused on fight day?
I'm gonna be focused. Just know that I'm always focused.
4K. How are you gonna be 4K?
At first, after preparing, Elijah to turn and prepare to out somebody who's bigger than Elijah or Midnight, I should say. Uh, unfortunately, it's a situations where it's like my training, that footage that you seen there, that is, but having to go from fighting that and prepare somebody who's bigger than Midnight is way bigger stature, weight. He's obviously said it himself. He's not training. It's going to possibly be his outfall. We'll just, the situation falls. Honestly, though, I'm going to knock you out in the first round. Right? I'll let until the second or until the third. I'm toying with you if I'm going to really be honest with you. Like, I'm going to let people get their money's worth. I feel like I'm done toying with you. Hey, it is what it is at that point.
Okay. And G, you seem to be like real confident in your natural ability, real confident on how you're downplaying him. Like, where does this confidence come from? Is this like something you have, or is this like is something you is like? Do you look up to someone who has this type of confidence? Like, what's how are you this confident?
I just have confidence in
What you
myself.
like? I mean, you said it yourself. You're not training, and you're just banking on the fact that you're going to, give him, his money's worth
I
and whoop on
that's
his
that.
ass
I
if
am.
you're 100 pounds.
I'm always been confident. This me right here.
All right, all right, all right. So you know, next week y'all gonna get to see each other in person and all that. 4K, like, how are you prepared for that?
Honestly, this is one of my closer friends. It's just now, rather as a friend, I see him as a road gotta get past and I gotta get over it. Which you gotta get stepped on. Like you gotta get in a sense. Uh, Bigger prizes and better things. You just gonna happen to be the biggest joke of them all, as they say.
Okay. So I mean, I don't know if this was in the contract or not, but G, if somehow you lose to 4K, would you want to do a rematch in the future? Let's say Cam
Yes. Yes.
4K, would you be open to that?
He have to prove his, that he gonna take it the next time around. I honestly, midnight lined up for you. I'll put you up against midnight. You redeem yourself in that. You got me. Like we could go ahead and set. But
All right. All
it's
right.
just one
All
of
right.
these. I'm focused on the future. So after I walk through you, I want next. I'm gonna just be honest.
I got you.
All right.
But you ain't gonna
So
walk me down. I'm gonna walk you down.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That we see that in the fight. Because if you come out there with them, it's gonna get wiped away real.
Just know I'm ready for it.
Hey,
okay,
take two
okay.
of
So
us.
you both have been in camp for about a month now. Okay. What have been your biggest inspiration during camp? Like any friends, family, any boxers, anybody? Like, who has been your biggest influence in camp, and like who's the reason that you keep pushing through, keep going? 4K.
Floyd Mayweather.
All right, 4K.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you. What'd you say? I guess he lagged out. Um, so like, who's been your inspiration? G, I guess. Like, how are you hoping to be going into this fight? Like, who do you want to look like going into this fight?
I wanna say like a me, just me. I wanna look like me.
All right, 4K. How do you
I
like?
probably
Who
can
would
I
be your
probably can get him like I probably can
All right.
look like a Money Mayweather.
All right. Yeah, yeah. We can see you. We can see you. 4K.
Floyd Mayweather. That's what I'm coming like.
All right. All right. All right. And like, it is just Floyd Mayweather. Who's been pushing you like to do this? Like, who's been getting you through to do this?
My brother.
Everybody. All right. All right. All right. So you know, I know that like he's smaller than you, but like, what what makes you not want to train? Because I mean,
Man,
it's still
I
risky.
really, because I know I got this. I got this in the bag. You hear me? I got this in the bag.
I mean,
I
it is
got this in the
risky to
bag,
do.
man. I got this in the bag. Everybody just know I'm the one coming home with everything. You hear me? I'm coming home with that
I mean,
win. He going home with the L. That is how that finna go.
you're very confident because like, I mean, something could go wrong. I'm not trying to enter anything, but something could go wrong. Like you never know. Boxing is unpredictable, but
All right,
I mean,
I'm back.
all right. So like 4K, who has been your inspiration during camp? Like who do you aspire to be like in the fight? Who's been pushing you to go your all?
So I'll be like this. I don't aspire to be like nobody, leave my family. This is one of them situations where if you got your family backing you and everybody forward, he just told me everything I honestly needed to know just based off of this little press conference here. Him by no means like he's big, he obviously got something up his sleeve. If he's obviously planning something. I don't underestimate him at all. I don't take nothing away from him. Fighters who I try to watch, I don't try to imitate nobody, but just Mike Tyson, Terrence Crawford, just stuff like that, because you don't want you do want to watch real life boxers, because this is not something you could play. You can't just go and win out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's see. Chat. I just want to let the chat know. Um, you can ask questions because this is a press conference, and you are part of the media that's in the press conference. I'm not the only one to be asking questions, but y'all can ask questions too. But let me get into this. I mean, it's it's
Hey yo,
it's
I got one question, bro. How long is the press conference? Cause I gotta run to the store.
I will be done soon. We'll be done soon. We'll
All
be
right,
done soon.
cool.
You got like 5 more minutes tops. So one person asked, "How is Floyd Mayweather your inspiration when you haven't been training?"
I mean, man, seeing him going hard. Uh,
All right, 4K. I mean, when you watch boxing, like what's something that like you focus on, like you want to learn from? Because I mean, looking at the videos, looking at the training footage, I mean, your footwork is crazy, and like the way the you were punching, it's like for a first time boxer, it's I haven't seen something like that except for when I boxed. So it's like it's different to see someone else like on that type of level for the first time. So like what do you study? What do you learn when you watch boxing?
Honestly, it's just movements. You know, this is one of those situations where you can't really say I, because I could aspire to say, oh, I want to be like Floyd Mayweather all day, but it doesn't change anything. Because at the end of the day, you could try to imitate his style, but what works for somebody else might not work for you. My boxing style, there is a lot, a lot of behind the scenes that aren't seeing. My older sister, Kishana, shout out to her, her husband and shout out to him. Uh, just little, they pointed me as far as in my videos and stuff, not coaching me by no means, but just little stuff out to me like, hey, this is a problem, fix it. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm not perfect. I am new to the whole sport of boxing, and this is one of those situations I have to lock in mentally and prepare physically.
I can't hear y'all.
Chat, you can answer it.
Yo, can y'all
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yeah.
Gee, what do you see yourself? I can see a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities coming my way. A lot. I can't hear. I don't even know what the fuck going on.
Um,
He had a
so
connection
work.
issue.
Alright. So you know, 4K, would you being this your first event, would you want to fight, for the LB and the LBC more in the future?
Yeah, of course. I got a couple on my list. For instance, earlier, Nathan, I did take note of that. But I'm just gonna use this to kind of boost me forward, so I could potentially fight, a YouTube boxer. I could potentially fight a Jake Paul or a Logan Paul, whoever YouTuber, TikTok wise. That's just gonna push my brand further. Being, knocked out a giant. Honestly, like you come in, David beat Goliath. History.
Mm.
Is there some instances where David failed? Oh, of course, but and no.
All right, there's a question in here that asked about the weight. Um, it said, how did y'all agree on this, and what made you do this fight?
All right. So easy one. For one, it's like this. I know him personally, you know what I'm saying? This is one of these situations where, as somebody who I see in my friends, those, it was an easy no-brainer in that situation, just due to the fact that Midnight had found a new opponent. Unfortunately, that was not the case. That kind of said who's going to replace Midnight. So for him to step in like that at such short notice, literally a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he just stepped in and was like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. He was like, so I honestly, I'm telling you now, you want it 4K, you're going to get caught in 4K when you want. I hate that I got to be honest and say it like that, but it's the truth, bro. I'm not big as hell. So it's like, I gotta do what I gotta do. It was a mutual agreement. He was like, I want 4K. I told him I want you. The tail of the tape. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of just went from there. You know.
All right. There is another media question in the chat, and it says, G, what's your plan for the fight, and what strategy do you have?
I got a lot. I just don't want to speak on it right now. You hear me? I can't speak on it. I'm gonna just keep everything to myself. I can't speak on it.
Okay. So,
All right, he not all bronze.
um,
He got some brain.
all right. So, this is final of the press conference. We're going to the end. G, is there anybody specifically who you want to fight in the future on the next fight card?
I really, to be honest, I can fight everybody.
Okay. 4K.
Nightfall, Nemo, Cannon. I can fight everybody.
Oh, there's one more question before I end it. G, do you think stepping in the ring, not trained is smart?
I don't think really nothing of it.
All right. And then one last question for 4K. It says, did being undersized put a chip on your shoulder?
Oh, of course. Of course it does. People want to see me lose. They'll eat his words, deal with the consequences of his actions. And honestly, I don't see any consequence for, this situation specifically. Honestly, like G said, bro, that's props to you. But if I beat you, you gotta all the way, gotta fight a Nemo. You gotta fight, Midnight. I'm not saying these guys are below me or beneath me, but at that point, you gotta start over and find you somebody who you can beat, because you just have to. It's a no go. It's a no brainer for me to fight you. You lose and then fight you again. It just might end up being the same outcome. Will you probably beat me in the second time if you take it serious? Yeah, of course. If you step in on short notice, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I respect you for that. You got my for stepping in on short notice like that.
I can't hear you.
That's on me. That's on me. That's my bad. A question came in and it said, "G, what's your diet? For camp."
I really don't have a diet.
All right, all right, all right. And then someone else asks, "G, what made you decide not to train?"
Cause I feel like I got this in the bag.
All right, all right, all right. So, like the last question I have for you, 4K, if you want to fight or fight for anybody in the future, who specifically would you want to fight?
Are we talking about realistically or unrealistically?
Both.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. I want a Jake Paul. I want a Logan Paul. I want any YouTuber that's out there. I want a DDG. It's a couple of YouTubers and TikTokers who caught my eye. I want Midnight. Midnight was my original opponent. He didn't change. Things happen. I want Midnight. I want Nemo. Who's willing to step up and take that challenge? You know what I'm saying? This is a dangerous sport. It can vary. People can get hurt. People die in the ring. So it's not really a game at that point because your life. I always say this. Everybody got a plan until you get hit in your face. So I guess that's who I'm gunning for.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. I appreciate you for your time coming out here, taking 30 minutes to talk for the press conference, build up hype for the fight, and get ready because 2 weeks will come by very soon. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. All right, 4K bands age. He's 19 years old, standing at 5 feet 4 inches, weighing 160 pounds, versus his opponent G. He's 22 years old. He's standing at 6 foot 5 and he weighs 265. David versus Goliath, but they promise it's gonna be a show. And let's not forget about the undercard.
Let me cut you off
Necro
there.
Cannon versus
Not a
Nathaniel
show, a
Kai.
first round decapitation.
First round decapitation. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about the fight prediction. So 4K band said first round decapitation. G, what's your fight prediction?
Say it again.
I was gonna ask what was your fight prediction because 4K said first round decapitation. What is your prediction? And keep in mind this is 8 2-minute rounds.
I'll say the same thing.
Uh, what's your fight prediction?
The same thing as 4Ks.
Oh, same thing as 4K. First round decapitation.
Yeah.
So both of these gentlemen think they're gonna have a first round knockout. 4K bands versus G, ladies and gentlemen, the main event, November 19th on the Lightning Boxing Network YouTube channel. This live stream starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. It's gonna be a show. Tickets will come on sale soon. There'll be more to come for these. So I'd like to thank you. And do you have anything else to say before you leave?
Me or G?
Both of y'all.
No, I don't.
Tune
So
in
I'm
to the
going ahead and
fight.
get about the chat.
Fight to see David's hand raised, see Goliath fall, see, hey, just see something that's gonna be
All right.
special. Something, you know
Ladies,
what I'm saying?
Shout out
ladies and
everybody
gentlemen,
that's watching.
4K Bands versus G, the main event, November 19th. Tune in, the Lightning Boxing Network YouTube channel. It's gonna be an event. This is your host, KingTre. You know, um, I was happy to do this. I appreciate both of y'all coming here, taking time to do this, and good luck to both of you. And I will talk to y'all in a week. I think that's the next time. I think that's face to face. So in about a week, and good luck to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there it was. press conference. I mean, it was a little. It was a press conference. This is what you expect, and in person, it's gonna be even better. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. In person, these two, I can already tell they're gonna go at it. Face to face, head on. It's gonna be heated. But yep, ladies and gentlemen, 4K bands versus G, the main event exhibition. G is a heavyweight, and 4K bands is super middleweight. So it's gonna be interesting to see how those two are gonna pan up together. And then let's not forget about the main or the co-main event actually. Necro Cannon versus Nathaniel Cobb. Who they're respectful. They kept it light in the press conference. But let's see if that's gonna be, in the ring. That respectfulness is gonna stay in the ring or not. I appreciate you. It's your host, KingTre. And to all my fans out there watching, I promise you will see me as a fighter on the press conference and not a host. That's just how I had to be today. But you will see me as a fighter. And, KingTre out.